Welcome back to your YouTube channel. Okay, so this is the second lecture on vectors. In the last video, we discussed about what vectors are and some basic concepts regarding vectors. In this video, we will be exploring some other topics. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's start. Okay, so let's start with angle between vectors. Okay, so suppose we take two vectors. Suppose this is one vector and this is another vector. Okay, so let this be vector A and this be vector B. Okay, so if we align these vectors in such a way that the tail of a vector A coincides with the tail of vector B, or we bring them in such a way that the head of vector B coincides with the head of vector A. Okay, so then the angle between these two vectors is known as the angle between vectors. This is theta, right? Yeah. So this is pretty simple, right? What we did was two vectors were here aligned in different ways. Okay, so we brought them in such a way that their tails coincided or their heads coincided. Okay, and then this smaller angle between them. Okay, the smaller angle, not this one. Okay, the smaller angle, this one is known as the angle between the vectors. You would say why this is important, right? This has very vast applications in finding the resultant of vectors. So suppose now you say that we have one vector, let A, and we have another vector, let's suppose 5 by 2A. Okay, now you tell me what is the angle between these vectors. You thought about it? Okay, so let's start. We suppose let's A vector may be something like this, alright. Now, what is 5 minus 5 by 2A vector? It would be pointing somewhere in the opposite direction, right? So maybe somewhat like this. It will be pointing somewhere in this direction, and its length would be 5 by 2 times more than this length. Okay, so this is suppose minus 5 by 2 a vector. So what we do is we bring them tail to tail or head to head, either way. So what we do is we take this vector, here, okay, and then bring it here at the end of this. So now tell me what is the angle between them. You can see, right, pretty straightforward. This is 180-degree. And isn't it's obvious, isn't it? Because this is a vector and this is a scalar into negative of a. So of course this vector would be something that would be anti-parallel to a. So the angle between them is straightforward 180-degree only. No difficulty in understanding that. Okay. So suppose we have a vector like, let's suppose um we have vector I cap. Okay. Suppose not this way. Suppose let's have a vector A is equal to I cap and B is equal to, let's say, J cap. You tell me what is the angle between these two vectors. 90 degree, isn't it? because they form the x and y axis of the Cartesian system, right? So the I cap is what? If this is the x axis and this is the y axis, then I cap is a unit vector along this direction and j cap is simply unit vector along this direction, right? So what is the angle between them? It's 90 degree. See, tail to tail or head to head, whatever. So the angle is 90 degree. So you are getting a sense where this angle comes from. All right. So as we spoke about, this is important in finding resultant of vectors. Now coming to this, what is resultant of a vector and why is it important? Let's suppose in space, like we don't always have one or two vectors, right? So that things, computing things would become easier for us. We may have lots and lots of vectors into play, into action. Okay. So under such circumstances, the most favorable thing for us to do is to condense the number of vectors into as little number of vectors as possible. Like, let's suppose we have this block, okay, and suppose there is one force here, let's say 5 Newton, one force here, let's say 10 Newton, one force like obliquely at some angle, say 37 degrees, some 5 Newton, then again somewhat like here, some angle like with 53 degree, 10 Newton, some where around here at 45 degree, 10 root 2 Newton. So in this way, like you can see in this diagram that there are several forces acting on this block, right? So uh, now just by looking at a figure, are we getting any sense where this block is gonna go? We really do not have any idea, right? Because there are so many vectors into play, it's difficult for us to handle. So what we can do is we can simply minimize the number of vectors, and this is where resultant of vectors come into play. Okay, like suppose in last video we discussed, right? So suppose there is a park like this, a triangular park, let's suppose. Okay, A, B, C. Now at first you are at A. This is, let's say, 3 units, and this is that's, you say, 4 units. Okay, whatever. So initially you are at A, you go along this direction and reach B, then you move upwards and reach C. Fair enough. All right. So what is the what is your net displacement? Your net displacement is this AC. AC, okay, which is 5 units from Pythagoras theorem, as you can see. So basically what happened here, you moved AB. Now if we devise a coordinate system like this is I cap, this is J cap, then suppose let's AB is equal to some 3 I cap, okay, and then BC must be something like 4 J cap. So your net, what is your net displacement? AC, which is equal to AB plus BC, like 3 I cap plus 4 J cap. Okay, so what you did was basically there were two vectors into play, AB vector and BC vector. We minimize it into a single vector that has the same effect as these other two vectors. All right. So the main point of having a resultant vector is that a resultant vector has the same effect as multiple vectors into play, so that if we have multiple vectors into action, we can condense them into a single vector and life becomes easier for us in a way. All right. So that is the main point regarding why vectors, resultant of vectors are important. Okay. Now formally for finding resultant, we have a couple of laws for especially for addition, right? So we call it the addition of vectors, and there's a couple of laws regarding that. Okay, first one is the triangle law, and the second one is the parallelogram law. Okay, of vector addition. Okay, so let's first come to the triangle law. Okay, what does the triangle law state? The triangle law. Okay, so first, uh, let me give you the statement. Okay, triangle law of vector addition. What does it state? It states that if two vectors can be represented as two sides of a triangle taken in same order, okay, then their resultant is equal to the, not equal to, perhaps maybe um shown as, anyways, is there to the third side of the triangle taken in reverse order. Now this taken in reverse order is very very important. We will come in a second why. So this is the main concept regarding this. Okay, so just in the last problem, as we saw, कि when you moved along this, okay, we've had this triangle, right? Your triangular field around which you were moving. So once again, let's take the same thing, A, B, C. So this was 3, this was 4. So what happened was that this forms a triangle, right? So what does our statement say? If two vectors can be represented as sides of a triangle taken in same order. So same order means कि the head of one coincides with the tail of the other. Like, see the vector here, it's pointing in this way. The head tail is first, and then the head comes. Similarly about BC vector, right? The tail is here, and then the head comes. Okay. So the third side, the resultant is equal to the third side of the triangle taken in reverse order. So according, if it had followed the same order, the third side would have been like this, right? It would have been this. Okay. So, but I have said that the resultant is equal to third side taken in reverse order. So here we are dealing about AC. So basically it says that AC vector is equal to AB vector plus BC vector, and you got a sense why that happened, right? Because first you went from here to here, you follow this 3 cap. I mean, you went 3 units along x-axis, and then you went 4 units along y-axis, right? So that eventually brought you here. So your net displacement happened from A to C, which can be represented by this. And now we know that displacement is a vector quantity. So now we see that the laws of vectors holds for displacement. So now we can say displacement is a vector quantity. You can say that, right? Now the thing about displacement is that now you can get a feel about how this is happening. Okay, so uh, the same applies for even force. Like suppose we had this block, we applied 3 Newton here, we applied 4 Newton, suppose say in this direction. So as I said, we can move vectors around, right? So this is equivalent as suppose 3 Newton is like this, the 3 Newton side, and we bring it 4 Newton like here, uh, 4 Newton side. So the resultant would be this along this. So resultant is somewhat like this. Resultant is somewhat like this. This is equal to 5 Newton. Okay. And if this is theta, then alpha is simply tan inverse of 4 by 3. As simple as that. Okay. So now coming to how to, provided that we have these two vectors, magnitude of two vectors, then how can we find the magnitude of resultant of the two vectors? Okay, use in triangle law. So let's draw that triangle once again. So this is, let's say, okay, so let this be O, let this be A, and let this be B. So let um, let so in this triangle what we can see, if OA vector is, say this is A vector, OA vector is A vector, and AB vector is B vector. Okay, so simply no, A and B are confusing, right? So let's do one thing, let's replace them to like P and Q. So this is say P vector, and this is say Q vector. Okay, so basically this is P and this is Q. So using triangle law, tell me what is OB gonna be? OB is simply OA plus AB, as we learned from triangle law. Now you can also see this as a hat trick. Okay, I use it quite a few times myself. Ki OA plus AB, so that this AB is common, right, between them. So when we add vectors, we remove this common term. Like A at the end of this and A at the beginning of this is the same thing. So OA plus AB, we take this term out, and that is equal to OB. That is intuitively a way of getting things. Like now you are not wrong about this statement. Okay. So it's not a genuine way of doing it, of course, but it's a check is always fine. Okay. So this is OA plus AB. All right. So now what we do is we need to find the magnitude of this thing is pretty disturbing. Okay. So we need to find the magnitude of OB. So what we do is we drop a perpendicular here and we name it, let's say D. Now without bringing vectors into play, like, okay, we think of this as a right angle triangle. We need magnitude, right? So what is magnitude? Magnitude is this length of the hypotenuse, right? And sorry, this is the angle between these vectors. A and B are here. So what is the angle between them? Right? This is the angle between them, theta. Because AB is like this, okay, and O is like this, OA. So the angle between them, theta, is this one, not this one. You can see why, because this is head to tail, right? This is head to tail. So this is not the angle is this one. Simple enough. So this is theta. So now in triangle, right triangle OBD, we apply Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so what is OB? OB square. OB is hypotenuse, so OB square is simply BD square plus OD square. Simple enough. Okay, now that is equal to BD square, and now what is OD? OD is simply OA plus AD whole square, right? Now we can write in this way: OA square plus AD square is OA square plus AD square plus 2 into OA into OD. Okay, now you see in triangle ABD, okay, isn't AD square plus BD square equal to AB square? This the another right angle triangle, right? So now we can see that we have this BD square and we have this AD square. So this can be represented as AB square. Okay, and also in this triangle, in triangle ABD, okay, um, 2 into AD, sorry, this would have been AD, OA into AD. In triangle ABD, what is AD? AD by AB is a cos theta, right? The definition of cos theta is that in a right angle triangle, the base by hypotenuse, that's cos theta. Simple. So from here we can say that AD is simply AB cos theta. Fair enough. So we club these two together. So that becomes OS square. OS square we have it from here, and BD square plus AD square is simply AB square. And 2 into OA into AB is simply AB cos theta. Okay. And now what was the OA? OA is P. So the length of OA is mod of P. So this is simply mod of P vector whole square. And what is AB? AB is Q. So this is mod of Q vector whole square plus 2 of mod of P into mod of Q into cos of the angle between them, which is theta. And this is actually the resultant R square. Okay, so the resultant R is simply equal to mod of P square plus Q square plus 2 of mod of P mod of Q cos theta. So we found out the magnitude of the resultant, right? This is the resultant R, let's say. Okay, now suppose we need to find the angle at which this resultant is inclined to one of the vectors. Let's say OA. So let me crop this out a bit. Okay, so so this was B. Okay, B. So we need to find the angle at which this result is inclined to one of the vectors. Let's say OA, right? So let this angle be alpha. All right. Then what is tan alpha? Then tan alpha is simply BD by OD, right? Then what is BD? BD is, we know that BD by AB is equal to sine theta, right? So BD is AB sine theta. And what is OD? OD is once again OA plus AD. And now what is AD? AD is AB cos theta, then that is equal to AB sin theta by OA plus AB cos theta. So that becomes, what is AB? AB vector is Q, right? So Q sin theta plus OA is mod of P, right? Plus Q cos theta. Okay, pretty simple. Fine. So now coming on to, now tell me something. Okay, so we found out that if we have two vectors P and Q, then mod of P plus Q is root over of mod of P square plus mod of Q square plus 2 of mod P mod Q cos theta, where theta is the angle between P and Q, right? So now tell me something. What would be P minus Q, mod of P minus Q? Tell me this. Okay, so let's see. So what was theta actually? If this was two vectors like this, okay, then this was P, this was Q, and this was theta, right? Now, if this is theta, this was theta, simple. So tell me, what can this be written as? Can this be written as P vector plus negative of Q vector? It's the same thing, right? So if this is Q vector, what is minus Q vector? Minus Q vector is something like this, of same length but opposite in direction. So now we take this, alright, and project it simply here. This is my minus Q, right? This is my minus Q. So now, what is the angle between P and minus Q vector? It's 180 minus theta, right? So applying the same formula, what is P of plus of minus Q? So that is equal to root over of mod P square plus minus Q mod of minus Q square plus 2 of mod P mod of minus Q cos of 180 minus theta, right? So that becomes mod P square, and mod of minus Q square is same as mod Q square, because it's absolute value, right? Mod is absolute value. So this becomes mod Q, and cos of 180 minus theta, what is cos of 180 minus theta? That is equal to minus cos theta into minus cos theta. So basically that becomes mod of P square plus mod of Q square minus 2 of mod of P mod of Q cos theta. Alright. So that is how we compute what is mod of P minus Q. Okay. So this was all about triangle law. Now let's move on to the other law. That is the parallelogram law. Sorry. Yeah. So parallelogram law. One second. Yeah. Parallelogram law of vector addition. So basically what it states that if two vectors can be represented by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then resultant is represented by corresponding diagonal of the parallelogram. Fine. So basically what it says is that suppose we have two vectors. Okay. Let's say this is a vector and other vector. So let's say this is vector A and this is vector B. What we do is we simply complete this parallelogram like this. Alright. So now the resultant of A and B vector is simply the corresponding diagonal of the parallelogram. That is this one. Basically, as you can see, it's simple application of the triangle law only. Alright. So how is it? So let's say this is A, right? So this becomes A. Side is A. Suppose we form a parallelogram, right? We form this parallelogram. Then tell me if this is another vector, then what is this vector is equal to? That is simply equal to A only, right? Because this is parallel as well as same in length, this side. So basically this is vector A. So now we simply apply triangle law. So this vector plus this vector is simply equal to this diagonal. Okay. So that O A B C, right? So basically your BC vector is simply equal to OA vector, which is simply equal to A vector, right? And your OB vector is simply equal to AC vector, is equal to B vector. Now, what is OC vector? That is the diagonal of this parallelogram. That is simply OB vector plus BC vector, right? So OB vector is B vector and BC vector is A vector. So that's what the statement is. So basically it's the same thing as triangle law derived in a different manner. Okay. So now also regarding finding the angle, we can do it in the same way. If this is theta, it's the same thing as triangle law, right? So the once again the uh, thing would be the magnitude would be mod of a square plus b square plus 2 of mod a mod b cos theta, where theta is the angle. So I have one question for you here. Uh, 1 minute. Let's go back to this one. And 1 minute. Yeah. So tell me something. This was our parallelogram, right? Yeah. So OC represents what? Vector A plus vector B. What does AB represent? Or let's say BA represent. what is BA in terms of in terms of A and B? Just give it a thought. All right. So now let's see. Our thing was this was A vector, this was our B vector, and we need to find this, right? Yeah. So what? Yeah. So this was OA. This is OA, and this is simply B, right? So this is B vector. So tell me what is AB vector equal to? AB vector is simply equal to BO. Sorry. So what is BA vector equal to? Very sorry. BA vector equal to, yeah. So VA vector is equal to BO vector plus OA vector. I told you this trick, right? We take out this one in BA vector. Right? So now, if OB vector is B, what is BO vector? It is minus B, right? So if this is B, then this vector is minus B. So this vector plus this vector is simply BA vector. Okay. So BA vector becomes minus B vector plus OA is simply A. So that is A minus B. And now from our last concept, the thing we studied about subtraction of vectors. What is BA? Magnitude of BA, that is equal to root over of mod of A square plus mod of B square minus 2 of mod of A mod of B cos theta, where theta is the angle between the vectors. Okay, as we did it. All right. So I guess this is it for this class. Okay. Yeah, next class we'll be studying about polygon law and going into Lami's theorem and then into dot product and cross products. All right. So that's it for today. Keep studying.